Three,
Well,
two, one, we're live.
we are live. We got winemakers from all over the country joining us tonight, so stay tuned.
Woohoo! Carl Boucher, happy Wine Wednesday.
Happy Wine Wednesday, Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, everyone across the country. It's 5 o'clock p.m. It's 8 o'clock Eastern Time Zone. Everyone, it's time for a glass of Canadian wines. Mira Boucher, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Carl Boucher. I am doing great. I actually have 3 bottles of Canadian wine open right here, and I thought it might be fun because we're having some really special guests in about 10 minutes. Some really cool people. We'll let you know more about who's joining us to talk about none other than the Pan Canadian Masterclass, which if you can come to Niagara June 21st next year, we got some great updates for you. And even Sue-Ann herself, Sue-Ann Staff, who is our venue and host for the next Pan Canadian. Anyway, I have 3 bottles of awesome Canadian wine in front of me to do the fun blind tasting we've been doing lately on Carl.
I know.
And I thought it might be fun.
It will be fun at my expense. I have a bad feeling tonight. I don't know.
No, I thought it might be fun. So, I mean, the goal is not at your expense. It's really just to get your opinion about a wine, even description of a wine. You don't even have to score it necessarily, but just kind of fun to hear what you're describing and see if we can guess the wine, if you can guess the wine. And whether you get it right or not is irrelevant. It's more just about let's discover some new wines that we might not normally be talking about on this show, but it's just kind of fun to talk about, and our members can chime in. Vicky, so nice to see you. Happy Wine Wednesday. And I thought it might be fun, though, to once we have some of our guests on, Sue-Ann Staff is joining us from Sue-Ann Staff Estate Winery in Niagara in Jordan. We have who else joining us? When these guys join us, it might be fun to do one of our blind tastes then.
So I can have some help, so the guys can like whisper to me, "Hey, girl, maybe it should be this or this." Yeah, I'd like a little bit of help. So yeah, Stu-Ann's joining us, Marcel Morgenstern joining us, Richard De Silva, Rob Hammersley, Keith Dyers, probably
Mark
Brian
Hopley.
Schmidt. Mark Hopley, it's a reunion from the Pan Canadian 2.0 in BC that we did at Hester Creek, and not everyone, but a bunch of them are jumping in, and we're gonna put this, we're gonna lift the spirit of Canadian wines all together tonight, put it right up to the roof. Because we're launching the ticket for the 3.0 in 48 hours now, or less than 48 hours, in 36 hours from now. Those tickets are going to be available to the public with the early bird discount. So, I mean, yeah, this is a big deal because it's becoming big.
Big and fun. It's just so much fun to meet a bunch of other people that share your passion for wine to begin with, but also for finding these incredible wines that are being grown right here in our backyard in Canada, which, might I add, I think is the most diverse wine growing region on the planet. We have so many varietals. We have so much diversity of what we can do here in terms of style, and it's just amazing. So, Carl Boucher, you've started blind tasting.
I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around that. I know I have a Riesling. I know there's a good chance that the red is a Cab Franc or Cab Franc based. I got this nose, and the first one I'm debating. I have a feeling that I've tasted that wine really recently, very recently. So.
Well, so far you're doing very well. Everything you said so far is true. So So
And
that's a
that's
good
funny
start for
because
you.
I'll tell you why the wine number one, because it's a different temperature of service that I had last night. But I have a tip. And the tip, okay, look at my glass and see the rim. There's kind of a little bit of a foam on the rim.
Well, it's because I just poured it.
No, no, no. You know what? I just brought a bottle upstairs and look at the rim of the bottle.
But that's not the bottle I poured.
Maybe not. I don't know. I'm just.
I have the 3 bottles in front of me, so that will be
That's true. That's true. That's true. Okay.
I'm
But
not about
for a
giving
fact,
you
I
a
know that I have a
bottle.
Riesling and a Cap Framboise at my nose. That's part of my what I'm smelling. But anyway,
But I like where you're going with the similarity you see with that wine. What is that wine that you were holding up?
number one. Oh,
No,
what's the
bottle
wine?
that has that same rim. Okay, so yeah. So okay. And what do you know what varietals are in that Triumph that we tried last night?
Vidal Chard and what's the third varietal? There's a third varietal in the Vidal Chardonnay and Riesling. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, one of those varietals certainly resonates with your number one in the blind taste.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for joining us, members. It's actually really exciting because when we had the first Pan Canadian Masterclass, it was literally Marcel Morgenstern and us chatting for ages saying we should really get everyone together from across the country. We should really figure out a way that people can come and taste, like wine from Vancouver Island all the way out to Nova Scotia. Wouldn't that be cool? And we do that in Hong Kong. We do that in Singapore. We do that in New York. We do that in London when we're tasting Canadian wines. But we don't do that here at home. And so the average Canadian wine lover doesn't get the chance to really see that diversity of the wines, because many times wines that are grown, let's say in Nova Scotia, they never leave Nova Scotia. Often the best ones especially don't. And same with Ontario and same with BC. So anyway, we were back and forth. And at some point in the summer of 2022, we were like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do a Pan Canadian Masterclass, we called it.
And with 6 weeks to prep for.
Yeah. What, like July? And we said, yeah, in August, let's do it. So we did. And it was a lot of fun, wasn't it? A lot of fun. About 65, 70 people came to that first one. But what was extremely exciting is that not only did you members came, but members from across the country flew in for that event, which was really amazing. And also winemakers that were involved decided to come. So the community, that sense of like unity that we felt at that event, I think it was pretty remarkable, pretty special. Who was here? If you were here for that first one, it was, in Carl's words, epic. Yes, Vicky.
It sure was. I mean, it sure was. It grew much bigger for the second one. The second one was extremely special too, in different ways, because it got bigger. We had like Nova Scotia was involved.
Double the amount of people, and double the people on the panel too. So double the winemakers and winery owners. We had 12 winemakers from across the country speaking about their wines. We're tasting their wines. It was phenomenal.
So now, I mean, like we're just following where the future is taking us. I think we're just following we started the train and we're on the wagon right now, and we just like keep going. And that, to me, the train's going up, and like the trajectory is up and up and up, and I just want to take it to the next level. I have a hard time to let go my child, my baby. I know it's becoming bigger and bigger, and at some point it's going to reach certain height that it's not going to be our little baby anymore. But for 3.0, I feel that it's still something that we can hold in our hands, and this is really freaking exciting. We want to keep it emotionally, like where we can stay attached to it. And I mean, the people that we have around us, Mira, who've been working with us since the very beginning, I mean, that's the best part of all of that. Yes, the juice, the wines in our glasses are great. It's world class and this and that. But the people that we're doing it with, it's it's very, very special. And for our members who are requesting to purchase their ticket right now because they don't want to miss it, it's even better. That is like give me goosebumps. We have people from Alberta saying it's our anniversary that like in that weekend in 2025. We're going to be there. We need to plan it in advance. We need to buy the ticket now. I mean, it's crazy. Or people from BC who say, I don't care if it's across the country. I'm going. I mean, this is fantastic.
Absolutely. And you know what? I don't know if I don't know why, but I've started looking for accommodations. And for whatever reason, that week is more booked up than other weekends. It's also like one of the last weekends, June 21st, before the busy season really hits in Niagara, which as a wine lover, I think that's the absolute best time to go. The weather's going to be fabulous in wine country. It will not be jam-packed like it is in the summer. And you're not paying the premium prices for accommodations in the summer.
That's the big thing. That's the big thing
for your wine purchases. And so, yeah, it's going to be a perfect time to go, I think. So
that's a big thing.
We have some incredible people in the green room.
And the fun part and the crazy part of people in the green room, most of them, they're middle of harvest. Like they're in the middle of crushing. They're crushing. I know that Mark Hoppy's crushing Cab Sauv right now. I know that like Brian Schmidt is right in the middle of harvesting his Cab Franc. And Keith Dyer is in the middle of crushing his South Clos. I saw a beautiful picture this morning of a beautiful vessel with South Clos Pinot Noir fermenting. I mean, so all of these people are taking time all of their evening, even if it's 8:30 Eastern or 5 o'clock here Pacific. We have a good group joining us to talk about the Pan Canadian. So, I mean,
absolutely. And what we want to hear, like we just want to hear what everyone's been up to, because it's been a while since we've connected to with this group, but also it's kind of fun to hear, ideas, reasons why they're involved with the Pan Canadian, things like that. It's going to be fun.
Well, so, I'm interested in their help in finding what the freak is in my glass. So, and I have a panel of pros with me tonight, so they might give me some hint of what I can find in my glass. So finally, I have some help.
So before we bring Sue Ann, quickly tell me what is in glass number 1 in your blind tasting tonight, Carl. Do you want me to reveal it? You've told me.
I mean, in my glass number 2, I have a Riesling. Okay.
I'm asking you the first one.
Oh, okay. Glass number 1. I might be the Chardonnay. It would change a lot since yesterday. So now
I told you already that the bottle you have up there cannot be the same bottle we have here.
It's not. It's not. Yeah. No. That's not what it is.
Right,
but I'm fairly sure that I have a Chardonnay in my glass number 1.
And then tell us about it. Like, describe it. Tell me what you.
I would say there's wild ferment in there because I'm seeing some. And it's unfiltered, definitely unfiltered, wild ferment. I got lots of peach, but lime also. I don't get a ton of oak though. It might be just like neutral oak if there's any. There's definitely some. Loads of chamomile. Lots of white flowers. I like that.
Amazing.
Great legs, great concentration. Yeah, that's what I get. That's what I get in there.
Well, are you ready for the reveal? And then let's bring everyone on.
Okay, let me say, if it's under $30, I give that wine easily a 91 points. This is very good.
Okay, so I'm going to reveal it. Our researchists, as Carl calls us, that like to look things up, our researchists can always Google this wine and tell us how much it is, because I we'll only have time in a few minutes to do that once I brought everyone in. It is the 2021 Chardonnay. So you were bang on with the Chardonnay from Domaine de Grandpré, who were part of the Pan Canadian, I think in the first edition.
There you go. There you go. That's
Valley, Nova Scotia. Really cool.
That is awesome. That is really, really awesome.
And you were saying probably no oak or neutral oak. Well, it is stainless steel. But I think you're right. I've tasted it too, and it's got that texture. So maybe some of that wild ferment you're talking about, or maybe they did something interesting with the leaving.
Leaf steering or anything. But I mean, it's really cool. I like that. Well done. I knew I tasted that wine before, maybe a year and a half ago, but I knew I had that in my mouth before. So, hey, Nova Scotia Chardonnay
are another anniversary crew on that Pan Canadian weekend. So congrats, you guys. And it'll be fun to celebrate that with you guys. And yes, Butter Tart Mania. Oh my gosh.
Absolute freaking lay. I'm buying shares in the Butter Tart at the bakery at 13th Street anyway. So
August 23rd. Sorry, Elaine. I thought you said June 23rd. I was like, wow, everyone's married that weekend. Very cool. Okay, let's bring on Sue-Ann Staff herself, who has been so generous as to allow us to descend upon her winery to have this amazing event happen next summer on June 21st. Sue-Ann. Yes. Oh, so a good question in the green room here. For those of you guys celebrating anniversaries at the Pan Canadian weekend, what years do we have? Some interesting anniversary years, like 20 years, 22 years, 35 years.
Yeah, that is awesome. So Sue-Ann is going to get back with her headset, I guess. So maybe the microphone so we can hear what she has to say.
There you are. And just on mute. So we'll just, let's see. Can I do it? I can't unmute you, but I'm sure we will in a second. There you are.
There you are. There you are.
It was like it was 2020 again, and hey, Sue-Ann, you're on mute. It's just like everyone said for like 4 years. I still don't have it figured out. Sorry.
No, it happens always.
You're excused. It's harvest time, so I mean, come on, you're excused. You're excused.
It is, and I feel for those in the press house tonight because it's 12 degrees. It is like it's a cold, damp 12 degrees tonight, and cleaning those presses and crusher Decembers cannot be a lot of fun. So kudos to those that are there tonight.
That's a rough one. We're having a gorgeous week here in BC. It's 21 degrees and sunny around here. Just too bad.
Not very many grapes, sadly, with what happened with our deep freeze here. But
yeah. So tell us. So you picked Chardonnay yesterday morning, I guess, right?
We did, yes. It's beautiful and really great condition. The aromas are fantastic. Sugars are good. Flavors are absolutely fantastic. So looking forward to doing a barrel fermented Chardonnay. And but it's be like a really like I said, neutral oak. So it won't be too oaky. And but that won't be out for. It's always hard talking with the wines now and getting excited about them because they won't be ready for another 8-9 months when we have to get through what we already have in the on the shelves. But I'm really looking forward to this one already. Looking forward to a few wines for this vintage already. So
and that's what I wanted to ask you first, Sue-Ann. 2024, very unique vintage, definitely here in British Columbia that we're going to remember for a long time. But for you guys in the Eastern time zone in Niagara, especially where you are in Jordan, how's 24? Is there a big difference between the quality of the white and the red, or is fairly homogeneous or something like? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, this year I'm looking forward to the reds just because of the heat that we had. We had a lot of heat and we went for long periods without a lot of water as well. So the flavors there, the colors there, they're looking really great. That's why particularly that, and I say like across the board, consistently across like vineyards and properties and appellations across Niagara. I think that would be a consensus. The whites is a little bit more variable. That with some of the disease pressures we had earlier in the spring, it is really tough. That I know in one of our blocks, the Riesling wasn't so fantastic. And another one we just said, well, see you next year. Another one looked okay, but you never really want to say goodbye to a block. And I know many had to put a lot of fruit on the ground because of the pressures from black rot and powdery mildew and downy mildew. Also, for those that were organic and biodynamic, it was a particular struggle because of just not having as many tools available. And then there's a big outcrop of Japanese beetle as well. That's tough to manage.
Yeah.
Some of the vineyards don't look super fab. So, but the reds, yay. Yeah, they're gonna be great. I can't wait to get into them. We pick
Chestnut Tree. The Chestnut Tree Cabernet Franc should be back on schedule for 2024.
Absolutely. It's ripening lovely. The thing right now is like I'm wondering how much more ripe it's going to get, just because it's getting so cold at night. So by the time the grapes warm up in the daytime, like the ground has to warm up too. So it's a long time before those clusters are getting riper and warmer and things actually happening there. So, but at the same time, it's early in October. There's a long way to go. Mother Nature's looking formidable for us, not in Florida. And I think we'll have some really great rides coming out. That's for sure. Excited.
Awesome. Okay, let's jump in the meat of why we're here tonight.
And tell me, Carl, do you want me to bring everyone in right now? And
how about that? Just bring everyone in while I'm chatting with Sue-Ann. Okay, yeah, absolutely. I think they waited long enough. Yeah. Hey, Sue-Ann. So yeah, we're here because Friday morning we're launching the ticket sales for the Pan Canadian Masterclass, the 3.0, which is going to be held at your winery on June 21st, 2025. Absolute freaking late.
Yeah.
And I mean, before we talk a little bit more about, I have to say, what I was talking to behind your back, okay, without you knowing, I had an idea that I wanted to bring the 3.0 to your winery, but I was picking other people's brains one by one, and just like everyone told me the exact same thing. We should do it at Sue-Ann next year. And I was like, I thought it was my little idea. I was a genius. No, I ended up that we all thought the same thing. We should bring the 3.0 to you because first and foremost, you're freaking amazing. Second, because your winery and your space, it's absolutely perfect because we're looking to grow. We want it bigger. So here we are. And you're, I think, like, yeah, you agreed and you're excited about it. So tell me what's excited you the most to host the 3.0.
Oh, my number one skill set is hosting parties. So I prioritize that above everything all the time. So it is a character flaw as well, by the way. It's not always great. But hey, I'm always about promoting Canadian wine, about and to a flaw in a sense that I put that before.
Is there a gin and tonic after party?
Yeah, looking forward. Oh, sorry.
Is there a gin and tonic after party?
There's absolutely gin and tonic after party, and our collection of bourbons is starting to grow substantially as well too. So there'll be options. So yes, yeah. I think we have a gorgeous space. I always have considered our farm here, our winery, our vineyard area, just given that we've been in the area for so long. We're a little bit like Switzerland. So everyone from the whole peninsula loves coming here. We have all kinds of events here throughout every single season for pick a reason, wine tastings and violin growers 100th anniversary and all kinds of stuff. So be able to take that now and add a Canadian component to it, have winemakers from across our gorgeous land come to our property. That just makes all of us very proud. So proud Canadians.
Sue-Ann, that was your first one this year. You were at the 2.0. You traveled across the country to come and celebrate with us here in BC. What struck you? What made you showed up at Esther Creek? Well, we had that week of celebration, but what you remember the most? What was something like very special that you remember for the 2.0?
Yeah, it's that expression, the tide floats all boats, and the way we're all on the same train, we're on the same boat, and we all need to rise together. And so what I loved was some of the friendly banter that kind of happened between winemakers. That was fun and whimsical. However, it was always in good jest and wasn't you put two computer guys against each other, or two race car drivers against each other, they're going to beat the hell out of each other and make them feel like 2 inches big in the end. We're like propping each other's up and putting them on each other on bigger pedestals. So that's what I love about our industry.
That's awesome. Hey, we have Mark Hopley here. Mark, thanks for joining us, man. I know you're busy. There's a bunch of Cab Sauv on the crush pad right now. You're taking a little bit of time to join us. But Mark, you hosted the 2.0. And for you, what's that mean for Esther Creek and for Mark Hopley and your team to have all of these people from across the country debarking at your place? Was it something that I would say reach exactly what you were expecting, or there's something unique that about it?
I think it surpassed expectations, Carl. It was, for me, it was a real good learning experience. I kind of feel that when we get staff from around the world come here, help make wine, and you get input, but to talk with other winemakers, I find a lot of the things that we do, the trade shows, sometimes we don't do deep dives. It's kind of surface or it's all science, but I really think there was some practical things. There were some really cool breakout conversations, and I love the way that Mira and yourself ran the dialogue and on the big night, and all the events leading up to it. For me, were top shelf, and that's just, you put a great group together, and it was just really great to meet colleagues from across the whole country.
Well, I have to say your team did a stellar job. It was absolutely amazing. You guys were like clockwise. It was amazing. And we have also Marcel. Marcel, whereas the idea of the whole, from the very beginning, was brewing in Marcel's head. And just like he is, just at some point, he said, okay, forget about everything. Let's freaking do it. And yeah, 6 weeks later, him and his team, we put the very first one together. Marcel, did you ever thought that it's going to get to a 3.0 thing, or do you thought like I don't know, what were we thinking at the beginning, right?
Well, not so much you, but since Mira is a part of the team, yeah, absolutely.
I guess so.
No, listen, did we know that before? No, but I think everyone in the room definitely knew after the first one or halfway through the first one that there was going to be a follow-up. We talked about timing on everything and keeping with the schedule, and are things too long because this was all new and there's just so many conversations going on. Look at it at Hester Creek, which the hosting there was like the team did absolutely amazing job. And we surpassed the timeline yet again because we had, more people there. And but looking around the room, unless people were really hiding it, I didn't see anyone falling asleep. They were all like super engaged and getting involved. And I saw, conversations at the tables as well about the things going on. So what I really think is cool about this event and the events leading up to always the main event is that it's multifaceted. It's like the consumer sitting at the table and getting real access to all the stories behind the wines, right from the winemakers, right from the winery owners, but also that exchange that Mark and Suan were talking about. So there is a connection within the industry, and then there is a connection with the people that make it possible for all of us to have a job every day. And that exchange all the way through is something that I don't feel you get at other trade shows. It's always very transactional, like we stand behind a table, we pour the wine, you like it, you don't like it, you exchange pleasantries, maybe discuss one topic for 5 sentences, and then it's on to the next table, where here everything is at the table. And you're not tasting 100 wines, but you have that regionality, and you're comparing different parts of the country to each other, where it just shows that Canada is wine country and not just Ontario, BC. Like we're talking about Canada as a wine country.
And I think we all
that's really
succeed.
exciting.
Marcel, I think we all succeed into that, because I think it was very my fear in the beginning and Ilya Sancho always said the same. We don't need another trade show. We don't need that, right? No one wants that. And I think in that sense, we truly succeed in that, because it's absolutely everything that a trade show is not about. Like, we have brought that passion, and I mean the fire to me, that's what stands out to me. And I remember again when Richard told the Portuguese story at the very beginning, at the very first one, and everyone in the room got like, "Holy smoky, okay, now," and like the passion in these message, you don't get that in trade shows. You don't. And
no, and I think the energy is like, I mean, obviously it needs someone like yourself and Mira to put it together, and then to be the host. But I think a lot of it just comes by having, and the panel, yes, but also these very excited audience, this very excited audience together. The rest almost then, with a little bit of guidance, seem to every single time happen by itself. And I'm interested, in a way, there was a lot of similarities between the first two, but there was also vast differences. So I'm really excited to see where the 3.0 is gonna end up. No pressure, Sue-Ann.
No pressure, Sue-Ann. And Richard,
Okay.
Richard, I don't know if you were planning to travel, but your wife is commenting here that she can't wait to be there. So I guess that you guys are traveling.
Take good care of her, Richard. Don't worry.
Sure you will. Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be. There's going to be some good two shows. I mean, going from the amazing job and the atmosphere at Hester Creek to what Mark and their team put together to Sue. I think they'll be both just very different, but both very passionate. I'm really looking forward to being part of it. I think it's just shows a diversity of ways of showing that passion and enjoying what we all love to do, which is farming. With the wine component. So that's I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be, I put my hand up the minute that you said it, for sure. I think I think it's important in these things to connect with people in a more visceral way. Like you said, a lot of times we go to these either mass consumer events or mass trade events, and it loses a bit of that personal touch. I think something like the Carl's Wine Club, these Pan Canadians, allow people to have a more, like I said, visceral connection with the person that's behind their wine, and get to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's what makes it interesting. It's for all of us. It's important that there's a sense of real.
Yeah.
Word, you know what I mean? And I think that's the thing that you get with these kind of events, which is you have that personal. I mean, when I go to Vancouver Wine Festival, arguably one of the biggest wine events in North America, it's hard to get that kind of thing. It's a big room, lots of people. I love what obviously what Harry's doing there with that event, but these more smaller, intimate things are special. And I think ever been since I first went to the first one and got to meet many of you here. I mean, if I look at Sue-Ann and Marcel and Rob, I mean, even though Rob's a neighbor down the road, I mean, it was through that connection. So it's not just for the wine consumer and the buyer, but it's for all of us, I think. So.
Yeah. And what I think, to me, it's not like there's no versus, right? It's not Ontario versus BC wine and how Nova Scotia fits in all to that. To me, it's all about the complementarity. And Rob Hammersley, welcome and thanks for joining us. But I think we had that conversation so many times together, right? It's not versus a region versus another, and it's all about how we complement each other. And so, yeah, thanks for joining the call, Rob, because you've been there from the very beginning as well. And it's so great to have the input of you guys, the smaller producer, like the team where it's my wife and us at the farm, from the vineyard to the bottle and everything in between, and having the message of that size of winery makes it very special as well for our members and the consumer to have access to your knowledge as well.
Yeah, we've been really excited to be part of this since the start. And, I don't look at this as a wine tasting event. What you guys are doing, it's like you're writing a living book about wine every year. And every winery is like their own little chapter where they build a story, they talk about who they are, and you get some context for where they come from and why their wines are the way they are. But each of those discrete chapters are connected by that theme of Canadian wine. And every year you're putting out a new edition, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. And June 21st. I see Suan's like, wow, not 15, for God's sake. So we're all going to debark. And what we're looking for this year, and I think Keith is here. I'm not sure if Prince Edward County is in the house. I don't have him on camera, but Keith, can you hear us? No, maybe not. He's
I got you.
Hi, you're here.
No, I got you.
How's it going, my
there.
friend?
It's well. It's cold.
Yeah?
It's not as warm here as it is out at Sue Ann's staff's place. That's for sure.
It's so cold his camera froze.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly, Keith. We sure can
I have
hear
my
you.
camera off.
So, hey, tell
You're
us
in my
where...
pocket. I'm out walking right now, so.
There you go. Tell us, what are you up to? Where is your harvest is at right now? So I know that you picked the South Flow is fermenting. Your Pinot Noir is in bins right now. How's the quality of your harvest on your side in Prince Edward County?
For us, it's really good. Quantities are low. They're always really low here. So it's not like, when I say 1.5 tons per acre, the guys at Niagara cringe at that, but for here, that's okay, given a challenging year that this year's been. But things look great. I mean, sugars are nice and high. Physiological ripeness is exactly where we want it to be. I like my acid, my tannic structure, my good composition. We've got great color this year. We're gonna have decent alcohols, which gives us great weight and strength. And we just finished processing yesterday the Churchside Chardonnay, and we just started processing South Close Chardonnay today. So we've probably got another 4 or 5 days of processing South Clos, and that'll be it. So hopefully I get Thanksgiving with my family. We'll see how that goes.
There you go. Is it more of a Chardonnay vintage or a Pinot vintage, or they're both?
For us, both are exceptional. I have to be honest. I mean, the berries are really big and plump this year, and they're not diluted. I mean, we've had a lot of rain in Ontario. Probably one of the wettest years that I've experienced in the 20 plus that I've been growing grapes and making wine.
Oh, wow.
And so what we see is, but we've got great physiological ripeness, and we had to wait. We had to wait until after a large amount of rain. We got 25. 3/4 to 17, so 17 on 25 is 42. So we got 42.5 millimeters of rain 3 weeks ago, like literally right before we started picking. But the ground was so saturated that the vines didn't need any extra water. So we had all these big plump berries and a beautiful green canopy. So everything just kept getting riper and riper. So I've never experienced a vintage so far where across the board, physiological ripeness and sugar thresholds and acid composition are very, very balanced. There's very little I have to do as a winemaker this year, other than just make sure that everything stays the course and does what it should to do. Now, having said that, I just jinxed myself. So knock on wood, because I'm sure all my friends that I can't see right now are laughing at me. So as of right now, things look great, but there's another week left. So we'll see what it ends like, but it's for here. It's looking really good for us. Looking really good. Lots of good quality, which is what we do. We do quality. We put it in a bottle because it's what we have to do. So, anyway,
That's awesome. It's great to hear from you, and I want you to because you were one of I would say you lit up the room during the Pan Canadian, Keith. You really get it started. You were at the beginning. We had a Chardonnay from you, the church side Chardonnay, and you presented a fairly emotional presentation to our crowd, and you really lit up the room. What did it mean to you to travel across the country and join us in BC at Mark Hopley's place at Hester Creek and being part of that? What I would describe as a pretty darn amazing group of people.
I'd absolutely agree. Great group of people, and I think that's what it is. And I'm gonna kind of earful a couple of things here of somewhat of my friends have said. The environment is different. I've been to a lot of trade shows and a lot of different events. This isn't an event about selling wine. This is an event about telling people that we should be proud about what we do. This is my opinion. Proud of what we do, coast to coast, and then the quality of the wine that we put in the glass here in Canada. And whatever your choice is, like that you choose to drink, if you're an Aussie Shiraz person or a California Cab person, or much like myself, a Rhone Red person with Syrah, as everybody who is with me at that event can attest, I love BC
and
Syrah.
God knows that you stock up on BC Syrah during your trip. God, I sure know it. I sent the 16 cases back to you. Sorry for interrupting. I have to say it.
So,
hopefully your wife is not listening.
It's all good. Oh, it's fine. But she might be. Who knows? No, that's okay. She saw all the wine show up. She says, "What the fuck is this shit?" I said, "Oh, sorry. This is what I paid off on the credit card before you could see the statement." But you know what? We love Canadian. So this event is amazing for me as a winemaker because I get to talk brass tacks with people. And this isn't, like I said, this isn't about selling. I mean, it's not about. Everything is about selling wine, so I've been told in my career. But to me, this isn't. This is about us sharing our passion with people that are passionate about where we live and what we grow and what we can do. And there's no reason that we can't drink Canadian wine, no matter what your palate is, right? Like I've opened some of the wines that I brought back from my trip out there with friends that would only drink Cali, and they're like, "Oh, so you're going to throw me an Oregon Pinot?" And I'm like, "This isn't Oregon, bud. This is BC." And they've been like, "Shut up." Right? And I'm like, yeah, like we can drink Canadian. And I mean, and I have to be honest, I wasn't exposed to that until I went out there last year. I knew about BC Syrahs because that was something that I had stumbled into on my own. But then the quality of the Merlots and the quality of the Cab Sauves and the Cab Francs and the whites, the Chards, and the different expressions of it, right? And then you move yourself through the valley and you can see everything north to south and how everything changes and how Okanagan Falls is, actually pretty decent for Pinot and Chardonnay. And then I look around the corner at Caledon and say, holy shit, like it's right there. And yeah, that makes total sense that he makes wines that taste like that. Like it makes so much sense once you get out and see these places and you understand what the place is, that the wines taste like the place that they come from. And the people that farm them love it because it's them. It's who we are and what we do. And it's what we do 12 months out of the year, because you're never off in this business. As much as we'd like to be, we're never off. Sorry, that was a lot. That was a tangent. Sorry, guys.
No, amen, Keith. I mean, you're absolutely right. And I don't know. We're going to be there. Probably Richard's going to travel. Rob's going to travel. Mark, I mean, we sure hope to have you and your wife traveling and come in and celebrate with us. But we're really excited for the 3.0. So now let's talk about a little bit about.
I've been telling you, let me cook.
Hey, I will let you cook, my friend. No worries. I have a few things that I have to take care of during that weekend. So yes, someone offers me to cook that weekend, I'm all ears. Don't worry about that. Um, your name is already down, Keith. Absolutely. The I mean, the concept still the same. The how do we want to reorganize it? I wanted to table with you guys. Should we do more touring the couple days before? Should we do couple days, a day before, a day after? Because I would like to take, but if you ask me personally, I would like to make it a 3 days event. Is it too much? Is it not too much? I'm all ears because we won the main event, but I would like also to do a day of touring Niagara on the lake and a day of touring on the bench. Is it something that we should break it down in 3 days? Is it too much? Isn't it? I'm all ears. Let's start with you, Marcel. Richard.
Well, I think it's important when you have, people like your amazing wine club members that are so passionate to come out to these events to connect the terroir to the glass they're drinking. I think that's the sometimes the missing component that we the connection of wine to place, and something I'm starting to appreciate a lot more now is that connection. If you're going to be out there, maybe a small. Maybe we did it with our Chenin Blanc. Remember, Carl, at one time with our Chenin Blanc, just having a small barrel, a glass of wine, some glass of wine, a bottle of wine from a particular block, and saying, "Hey, this is the unique wine from this place, and this is why," and putting a physical connection to what you're tasting that never goes away. Whenever I see, Marcel, or if I see Sue Ann's place, and her amazing grilled cheese sandwiches and all that. If I see all and the tree and like, there's something about that you can't mimic from not being on a place, like a physically tangible connection. The only other thing that's like that in the world is food. Like those two things are the only two things that create that experience and that connection in people's mind. And I think if we can do something like that, I think it's important to just say, here's a wine from this person. It doesn't have to be crazy detailed. Most of us never remember detail. What we do remember is the feeling.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think if we start connecting to our amazing customers that way with a connection of a feeling, and it has a visual component of a place that they can taste and smell and feel, it's a lifetime. I'll never forget those things. Anytime I've been to these places, it's those are those connections that I always remember. It wasn't the technical details. I couldn't tell you a freaking thing about anything to do with the wine. What I do remember is what I was feeling, what I was smelling, the air, the dirt. That is important. And if that's a component that you guys think is worth it, I'll put that out to my colleagues. I always cherish those things when we do these kind of things.
Well, Carl, you've been to the winery around the pond. I mean, that's kind of what Richard is saying there. So during that kind of conversation and how to, engage more with the people that come out to wine country, it kind of brought us to during the first lockdown that we had. Nobody remembers those days, a long time ago, but we did. A lot of wineries have like their winery tour. This is where we press the grapes. This is how we make wine. But that connection to the terroir. That's why we did with signage, with little videos, created this terroir tour that kind of takes you from 450 million years ago to today, basically, going very broad on the whole region and then narrowing it down further into our sub-appellation, is eventually ending up at our winery level. But exactly that, where, it's nice to have the nice store and present the wine and maybe have a peek into production, but that connection of why is this winery or why is this grape grower growing the grapes like right here, and then understanding that from one plot to the next 2 minutes down the road, there's a reason why you're experiencing totally different wines, maybe even from the same grape varietal. So I'm for the 3-day full access pass, and that's, I mean, just like out in BC. I mean, here we have it. It's just so convenient that half an hour drive from each other, you're in a totally different terroir. So that would be, especially if you have people coming and flying out.
That's we're expecting. We're expecting to have.
There's only Sue Staff Winery in all of Ontario. That would be.
And I mean, we're expecting much more people who are going to travel from many different places in Canada.
No-brainer. There you go.
Yeah, because there's also another option. It's to rent a hotel room or to rent a hall in the hotel and stack 50 wineries in a hotel and do more like a trade show type where people can visit. But I think that just like what Richard is saying, taking people from place to place, there is something a little bit more of showing where we are on the map instead of having a reception room on a hotel, or I don't know, Rob.
Well, and think about the things that you've done with Richard in the vineyard. Think about the tailgate tasting you've done with Brian. And then your recent trip that you've done, which I don't know, the invitation must have gotten lost in the mail for the Batchelder tasting day.
Frank Neufeld, Frank Neufeld from that. Frank Neufeld bought your ticket. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure you got an invitation.
Rob,
in an envelope I didn't know.
What do you think, Rob, for someone coming across the country? What's exciting for you to come back again to Niagara?
Getting your boots dirty in the vineyards. I mean, the highlights of, aside from the event itself, and both 1.0 and 2.0 were the tailgate tours. Absolutely incredible experiences. Yeah. Tasting wines in the vineyards, seeing how they're grown, why they taste the way they do. There's no better way to connect with a wine than drinking it where it is grown. So more of that, a lot more of that.
There you go. See, that was the original tailgate right there. But Brian must have been too busy sorting his Cab Franc tonight, or maybe he forgot. But yeah, he was supposed to be on the call. I'm sure he would raise his hand for tailgating as well. But I think the message, Mark Hopp, what do you think about what would be your ideal vision for satellite events for this kind of thing?
I felt like almost the big night that we did, I felt like that could almost be 2 nights. Like I felt like we're just scratching the surface sometimes, to be honest with you. But I agree with what Rob's saying and what Richard's saying. Like the vineyard part of it, it's everything, and people are going to remember that. But I think 3 days makes a lot of sense if you're especially if you're traveling across the country, because you've got a lot of loyal members in your club and a lot of winemakers that I'm sure want to be there. And if you're going to make the trip, 3 days would make sense in my brain. Like maybe the big night is the Saturday, but it's not a hard stop after that. You have some events the following day going into the weekend. And I think you guys went out to Painted Rock, if I remember, on the Sunday.
We sure did. We did the Silva first. Yeah, we did the Silva. Oh no, we started at Black Market. So we did Black Market, the Silva, and Painted Rock. And until Lou said, okay, that is enough.
I had to catch a flight home. Hey, Marcel?
Yeah. Marcel, I need to bring the young man home. That's enough.
That's it.
And I want to hear from the members who are listening, because there are a lot of people on our different channel here. I want to hear your opinion. Make sure you email us. Make sure you write a comment. Let us know what would be your ideal satellite event with the Pan Canadian. I think that we don't have the shirt, Mira. It's too bad, but with us. But I like the idea of having a shirt included in the price of entry.
Well, Marcel started this trend. Marcel and Emily at Bellaterra. So that, and then of course on the back we listed the vineyards that we went to.
That's
Right. So it's kind of like a rock tour, but in the vineyard.
So yeah. Okay, but I mean, guys, that gives me a lot of idea. Oh my God, this is so much. Sue-Ann, I want to give you the floor back just to I don't know, 3.0. It's at home at your place. What can we expect? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna do something crazy like a grilled cheese fest, or I don't know?
Well, I was going to give great kudos to Richard for spurring the idea. In fact, I wrote it down, the quotes I need to put together for this event, and put grilled cheese in it somehow. So we absolutely positively have to put a grilled cheese component with it, and maybe that's part of the breakout session of one of the what do you call it? One of the intermissions type thing. We have 2 or 3 grilled cheese sandwiches with 2 or 3 different wines or something. I don't know. We'll figure something crazy out. Some worldwide tour of cheese and wine. So,
Hey, Sue-Ann.
it's a gorgeous venue. It's a big, huge marquee tent overlooking a pond, and it's on a historic farm. And so I'm just really proud to host it. So there's lots of room. We can do it.
How many people can we bring? Like what is there a cutoff? Say, Carl, we cannot do more than 200 people.
Yeah, I think the max will probably be 225. It'll probably be right at the limit then. Everyone has some room to walk
got to
around.
run. I just saying bye-bye. And
Bye,
feel
Marcel.
free, you guys. We know you guys are all busy.
See you later.
Hey, Marcel.
And so 225 would probably be the max. So 200 would probably be still comfortable. 225 are getting a little squishy. So but it can be done.
Okay, so now, so tickets are going to be on sale on Friday morning, and now we have a big night of brainstorm for an all-weekend pass, I believe. I think that might be something pretty cool where people can purchase not only the main event, but an all-weekend pass and something like that. So I really appreciate all of you guys to joining us and to be part of that brainstorm, because I feel that we all have a little part of this in us. Richard and Rob, you guys have been here since day one with Marcel and Sue-Ann and Mark. Like Mark, you host the last one, Sue-Ann, you're here. So to have you guys with us and brainstorming means the world to us, and we're sure so excited for the 3.0.
I got to tell you, the connections from the 2.0 have been life-changing for me. Like, we met some really good friends through your club, like Clay and Johanna, that we met and shared some glasses of wine with afterwards. And these are people that are passionate about wine across the country. And so it's just really good. And likewise with the winemaking community. I mean, I'd never met Rob before. He literally lives down the street from me, probably 15 minutes. Well, we'd never met. So
hey, Mark, the crazy part, Rob and Richard met in Ontario, for God's sake, for the first time. So how crazy is that, right?
But yeah, some of the wines you guys brought out, and a chance to taste wines from Ontario and the Maritimes that normally we would never have a chance to taste in British Columbia, I think was a good experience. And so as Keith was pointing out, he came out here and tasted a lot of BC wines that he was quite surprised by, or to me, that's where we learn, right?
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay. I guess I have.
Real quick,
What?
I know some of you have to go, but Carl, in your second glass, you have something. You have guessed it's a Riesling.
I guess it's a Riesling. That's it's really Riesling to me. So you tell me if I'm out for lunch.
No, you were right on the Riesling, but tell us more. And anyone who's here in the room or you guys listening, tell us if you can guess anything else about this wine that based on what Carl's describing.
I mean, it's not the big, the petroleum, like the big kerosene type of Riesling. This is fairly young, to my opinion. It's more on orchard fruit. There's probably a 15 gram of residual sugar. There's a nice sweetness. There's There's a bright acid, but there's definitely a perceived sweetness to it. I'm not sure. I don't think it's wild ferment. I think it's it's straight up, but I might be wrong. I really love the finish of that Riesling. It really, really lingers. So,
all right. Well, great guesses. What's your overall impression? Do you have a score?
Uh,
Oh, you haven't tasted it. Gosh, that's all from smelling. Okay. This always used to be.
I love my Riesling. I love my Riesling with a hint of residual sugar. This is more friendly. I mean, I love that. There's great concentration. Now let's talk about price point. I would say it's probably around like the $28 would be my guess, and it's definitely a 91 point wine. That really delivered. So I love that.
It's a beautiful wine. 9.5% alcohol is kind of special. It is a real Riesling. It is 25 including tax. So good guess. And there's a special 2 connections to the Pan Canadian. Okay, that was my little bit of a background theme. So one is that it's from Rose Hall Run, which is actually a winery based in.
Oh, I love that.
Woods, right, Keith, in Prince Edward County. Oh, Pierre,
Just right around the corner.
Right around the corner. So which vintage is that, Mira?
good guess, Vicky. But yeah, no, it is a 2023 from Rose Hall Run. But this is the other connection to the Pan Canadian. It is from the Righteous Dude Nedelko Vineyard on the 20 Mile Bench. So it's not from a vineyard in Prince Edward County where Keith is at Clawson and where Rose Hall Run's winery is.
And it's Rob Nedelko's vineyard, right? Who was a guest at our first Pan Canadian.
Exactly. So hopefully we'll get to see him again. And I think he actually just launched his own label.
Ice wine.
An ice wine named after, called Sweet Caroline, named after his wife, I believe. So
Yeah.
Hey,
Keith, there we go.
I have a question for Keith. How much Riesling is planted in Prince Edward County? Is it none or just a very few? What's the Riesling acreage in Peck?
That's a good question. Too much. Is that fair enough? Too much? No, I'd probably say there's probably maybe 20, 30 acres of Riesling planted here. I'm sorry. It just doesn't get ripe except in those hot years. It just doesn't. I'm probably gonna piss off some of my friends, but I'm being honest.
Keep showing back again.
Right?
I fucking love it. Oh my God. Keith,
I grow grapes. That's what I do. I grow grapes, right?
Keith, we had a rough day here at the office, and I mean, I needed a Keith moment today, much more than you think. So for that, I truly thank you, Keith. Fuck, you're awesome. I love you.
You're very welcome.
No, but Mira, I love that wine at $25. Holy shit, this is well priced. Well done, Suan. Have you ever worked with any of Rob's fruit?
No, I haven't. No, I know him best ever through Facebook. So, but he had me a guest at the winery here several times, and I was here for one of our concerts as well that we did with Boris Brott. So, so I'd hope he would be able to come, and the traffic will be horrific between his place and ours that day. I'm sure all 10 kilometers on top of the Niagara Escarpment because there'll be like 20 other cars. Anyway, so
yes,
I'll have him to talk with the conversation tonight and make sure he's here.
Amazing. It's so good to see you guys. Oh my gosh, everyone that's been chatting with us tonight, our members. This is going to be a lot of fun, you guys, and we're so excited.
Yeah,
There you go.
Look forward to it. Looking great.
Friday morning, the tickets are on sales, and we're going to start building the lineup. Suan, obviously this year we'll give you the very first choice of the wine that you want to feature as a host, just like we did like last year with Mark. Mark went with the judge from Astor Creek. It was the very first pick of all, and this year, I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to have another Riesling, but let's see.
I'm going to keep you guessing until the last possible moment. I have to put some thought into this. I have to strategize, really strategize. Awesome.
So, hey, maybe Rob, what I know you about, we guys, I just want to give you like Rob, Mark, and Richard, because here it's a very different year in British Columbia. Some of our folks are bringing fruit from somewhere else. I know that I saw something pretty cool at Rob's winery yesterday. Rob, do you want to share what's just been put in the bottle? Because I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so we brought up some Sanso from Washington to make our rosé, and we carved out sort of the hard press and the last little bit of the free run, and brought that separately and made our ancestral method sparkling out of the Sanso.
Ooh.
Nice.
Really cool. Really cool. Thanks for sharing that. That is really cool. Mark, you've been bringing fruits from Washington as well, to keep the lights on and to keep the wheels rolling. You have a lot of staff to keep busy around there. Is there a kind of grape that you're really excited about?
Well, I can tell you that the Cabernet Sauvignon that we had just received has been top shelf. Just really small berries, lots of bricks, real kind of bagged up, shriveled up fruit, which winemakers dream when it comes to Cabernet. Yeah, small and intense flavors. But yeah, so we've been getting fruit from throughout Washington. I would say Walla Walla, Ancient Lakes, Waluke Slopes, Red Mountain. So we're kind of at the tail end of it. We've done about 730 tons, about 50 plus left to go. And it's all
That's a laugh from Prince Edward County right there.
50 tons left to go. That's funny. That's funny.
Isn't it?
little bit.
Oh, that's awesome. Richard, I had the privilege to taste your new spumante that you put in the bottle, and fuck, that was good. I really enjoyed. Tell us what you just and it's not released yet, so what people can expect very soon for Christmas or holiday season, a new spumante from the Silva.
Yeah, we started that our Isabella, which is from our winery site, Hidden Hollow, and it's a Riesling with Muscat, and it's it was kind of we named it incorrectly for Zante, which is usually typically describes a wine with lighter sparkle to it. But this wine is done in Charmat tank under I think it's 6 or 7 bar, like quite high. We did it for about 4 months in the lees.
Wow.
So I think we drove it up even higher. I think almost 8 bar in it, and so it was at -2 degrees, and so the wine is really got a great mousse to it. And so the Espumante was the renaming of my Isabella, which those of you that know is named after my grandmother, as an homage to someone that was quite important to who I am today. So the Isabella was just released. It is released now, by the way. Sorry there, Carl.
It is. Oh, there you go.
I think we were really excited about really ramping that. I think the wine, there's something magical about Riesling and Muscat. And at first you think it's going to be a sweet wine or it's going to be a really aromatic wine, but the wine is quite well balanced in that way. It is dry, but it still has a sense of pleasure to it. I stumbled upon that a couple of vintages ago. This is the 3rd vintage of it. And I'm super excited about it. It's a wine that just makes itself, and it's easy to go. So yeah, I think the Espumante is definitely more descriptive of the wine style, and I'm super excited. Unfortunately, after this vintage, we have the CBR vineyard just down the road. It's Riesling focused. That block and our Hidden Hollow has all been transplanted, taking advantage of the winter kill, into Chenin Blanc. So we're gonna have even more Chenin Blanc. So the Isabella, 4.0 may actually be a blend of Chenin Blanc and Muscat. So stay tuned for that little nugget. You heard it here. So there you go.
That's exciting.
Exciting. Well, I thank you guys for joining. I really wanted to give you a little bit of airtime and say what's going on at your own winery. But I know that we're going to brainstorm more in the future. But Carl's Wine Club, the Pan Canadian Masterclass 3.0 is now, the tickets are going to be on sales on Friday morning, June 21st, 2025. Now people cannot reproach us to be not organized and too late into releasing our ticket events.
Like the first one where it was literally like, we're doing something in 2 weeks, guys. And yet
So-
you all still came, which is amazing.
I'm just going to say, I want to say good night to everyone. I do have to slip out here,
Yeah.
but I want to say love you guys, all of you. You're awesome, and big warm hug to all of you guys across the internet, and even to you out there, Keith. You're amazing as well too. And Rob, Mark, and Sue-Ann, love being part of who you guys all are. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks, everyone.
Pleasure
Mark.
to know you, Richard.
so much,
Absolute
everyone.
pleasure, my friend.
Bye, everyone.
We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
again.
Be safe.
Bye. Thank you for
Thank
having
you,
us.
Suzanne.
A lot of
We'll
fun.
chat.
Thanks, Juan. Thanks for the late night.
Good night, everybody.
No
Thank you so
problem.
much.
Thank you,
Cheers,
Keith.
guys.
Cheers,
Okay,
cheers
bye.
to all of you.
Cheers.
Woo! Hey, I have another wine.
But you have another wine to guess. And
I sure do. You're not gonna cut me off. I'm on the verge to be three out of three. Okay, so yeah, this is, I believe, a Cap Franc.
You are correct, Carl Boucher. That is a Cab Franc. What gave it away for you? What gave it away?
The nose give it away. Definitely, it's Cap Franc. It's ripe Cap Franc, though. It's not the green Cap Franc. It's from a big vintage. To my opinion, it's probably 2020 vintage because there's that ripeness on the palate. There's the weight to it. So to me, it's Ontario Cap Franc 2020 vintage. I don't know from where, from which winery,
On
but
both points. Ontario 2020, right? Vintage Cab Franc. Yes. Okay. Now,
I'm
was
getting-
that all from smelling it?
yes, all but no. I smell Cap Franc. I tasted it, and from the palate,
Oh.
I was like, okay, this is 2020 on the palate. Which producer now I would way above my head to try to
Tell me
this.
what you think of it.
I think it's fucking fantastic. I think it's fucking fantastic. There's a little bit of coffee. It's a little bit unusual for my expectation of Cap Franc coffee past the mid palate, but there's a very classic cherry wood on the nose, Black Forest cake, that whole thing that what I'm expecting from warm Canadian warm vintage. I have it all. But when I pass mid palate on the flavors, there's a little bit of torrefaction. I would not go all the way to burnt toast, and there's no bitterness, but there's a little shift to a little bit of a espresso, like the espresso grind.
You know what reminds me of? You know when we were at Big Head with members just a couple months ago, and at the end of our tasting, they gave us a little bit of dark chocolate. And he said, put that dark chocolate on your tongue and take this shot of espresso, and the chocolate melts with the coffee. That's what it reminds me of past the mid palate with this Cab Franc.
I would say $35. If it's at $35, I will give that a 91. Because this is very good.
You're bang on. So it's, I think, 37 with tax, 37.75. You ready for the review?
Please.
Ready? It is 2020 organic Cab Franc from the Laundry Vineyard, Lincoln Lakeshore, VQA, Niagara. Organic wine from Southbrook.
Oh, this is the Laundry Southbrook. Wow, really good. I'm pleased with that. I'm really excited. Rob, I took the bottle of the Triumph Chardonnay from Southbrook last night when I went to visit Rob and Michelle for a impromptu quick glass of Chardonnay, and they both really love the Triumph. Definitely a big 92 solid for $26.75. Freaking fantastic. That Laundry Vineyard Cab Franc, wow. I'm buying that. This is freaking awesome.
Amazing, hey?
Yeah.
And Laundry Vineyard, it says right on the back, because we have like a dirty laundry vineyard just up the road from our house in Summerland, BC here. And I think that actually has a story about laundry. This laundry vineyard in
The family, it's a laundry family, right?
It's Heather Laundry. So it says choosing this organic wine supports farmers like Heather Laundry who protect healthy soils, air, water, and wildlife habitats. They are very big and very certified around being organic and eco-friendly and sustainable, so which is really awesome. Because I think it translates to wines that are more terroir driven and you feel good about it. You know, you're not.
And which is really, really, really fit the brand, the Southbrook brand. I mean, that's very much who they are.
I think they're all organic. And the reason why I chose to blind taste you on that wine is because we need to do the tasting notes tonight because we are actually featuring Southbrook next week. So if you're still here in the show, members, that winery is coming next week, right, Carl?
Yeah, I think for the 6-pack, the Discovery pack will be at $156, I believe.
Which is great value.
$156, including tax, 3 whites and 3 reds, and we're gonna have their flagship wine, Poetry, as a bonus option. Their Madeira, their small 200 mils Madeira style dessert wine as well. We're gonna have the Laundry. We're gonna also have the Estate Merlot available as bonus picks. So I so loved our time with Bill Riddlemeyer when we were in Ontario, in Niagara on the Lake last time we went. Bill is such a great character. I mean, very genuine of his time, very, very knowledgeable. We had great conversation. It was fantastic. So, I mean, to feature his wine, it's really exciting because they do some great things there.
Absolutely. It's so awesome to see all our members stopping by tonight. So exciting to see what we can start planning for starting on Friday with the early bird for the Pan Canadian, and more details coming your way on Friday. We wanted to mention 2 things. One is that if you're not a VIP Unlimited member in Carl's Wine Club, or you haven't heard of this yet, I just sent an email about it maybe like half an hour ago with the link for the VIP Unlimited if you're not already a VIP Unlimited. And what this is a membership upgrade. It is paid for the year. But if you're going to do anything like attend one of our club events, you get a discount for that. And yes, you can stack it with the early bird that's coming out on Friday. If you are planning to visit wine country, we will give you a complimentary consult, help you plan your trip, help you book your bookings, and even give you a tasting for up to 4 people complimentary while you're there in Niagara or BC wine countries. And if you buy wine, if you buy Canadian wine, especially if you buy Canadian wine through Carl's Wine Club, VIP Unlimited gives you free shipping for 6 or more bottles from one winery all year. So you don't have to worry about those pesky fees that add up. They add up. Any one winery we feature is anywhere from sometimes free with a high limit, more than 6 bottles usually 12 or more bottles. And sometimes up to $40 that you save on each shipment. So this is a big deal if you're building your collection of Canadian wine, or if you consume Canadian wine regularly. This is something that can pay for itself very quickly. And there's more benefits than that. There's a tasting notes archive, other great stuff that you can see in the link I sent out tonight. So consider that, especially if you're considering coming to the Pan Canadian or stocking up on Canadian wine in the coming weeks and months.
I mean, to be VIP Unlimited to me, Mira, is just like, it's just being part of the immediate family. I mean, we have right now, 75 members, 75 to 100 VIP Unlimited. And I feel like I've never been as close as all of these people because we're in touch so often. They got their discount
from people all the time.
I know, they got their...
I'm looking at my cellar. What should I do with this wine? And Carl will be like, I think these pairings, or I think this window of drinkability. That's the other thing, is you can get access to Carl for cellar consults. He's a professional wine appraiser, so helps with a lot of things like that.
And I mean, also you have access to any order. If you want a customized order, you just send us a note for $6. We can like, I mean, this is definitely like 2 feet into Carl's Wine Club's family. This is the step where we all really connect with each other on a monthly basis. This is really awesome.
It also supports the work we're doing, supporting the wineries. We have a TV show coming out next year, premiering next fall on TELUS Optic TV. If we haven't mentioned that, you haven't heard that yet. So that's also very exciting. So it supports things like that, which I think are really awesome to build this community of Canadian wine lovers that we've got together. But I do think it gives back and gives back and gives back if you are a fan of Canadian wines and you want to learn more about them. So that's about VIP Unlimited. And we mentioned about the early bird of the Pan Canadian. Obviously, we've been talking about that the whole time. I also want to mention real quick that this week we have launched something special. We have done mystery packs in the past where you can get like 6 or 12 different rosés from different wineries that Carl has curated from his top 10 rosés, or his that time we tasted 112 Chardonnays and went live for 7 hours for Carl to review each and every one side by side. And then you could get a pack of the top Chardonnays. So we've done things like that, mystery packs before. This week is special. You choose the budget that you want to spend per bottle, under $30 or $30 to $60 per bottle. You choose the number of bottles you want, 3, 6, 12, or email us if you want some other combination. And we will surprise you with some of Carl's favorite wines out of the 1,200 plus he tastes every year from Canada. So
that's and that is exploding. Like, this is exploding this week. I'm so excited about that. This is awesome.
A lot of fun.
Lots of fun.
And a great way too with Christmas gifting coming up, to have some stock on hand. If you're stopping by a friend's house and you didn't pick up a gift, you can always pick a bottle, and we will send tasting notes where they're available for each bottle. Each bottle has been pre-tasted by Carl for sure. So there's at least a score and some pairing ideas and cellaring recommendations. And very often there's also full on tasting notes, which is exciting. So you know what to expect from each wine. But yeah, those make great gifts to have on hand. I know quite a few members that are doing it in that way, but also quite a few members are talking to us about, hey, what can I do for my Christmas gifting? I always gift wine. So we're happy to provide recommendations and help hook you up with different wineries for different wine gifting.
I'm putting together a few some taste and buy events for some corporate clients, for real estate offices, law firms. So we're going to be on the road a lot in November, doing some buy and taste event where we will showcase a road map throughout Canada in some taste and buy events. So it's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it as well. So yeah, that's pretty much about it for this week, I guess. What a great show. What a great show. We needed that, Mira Boucher. I needed Keith Tyer's laugh. I needed our people, or these great comments. Oh, it's yeah, what a great show.
The passion of each of those people that was here. I mean, Sue-Ann from Sue-Ann Staff Estate Winery, Mark Hopley from Hester Creek, Rob Hammersley from Black Market, Richard De Silva from De Silva, Keith Tyers from Clausen Chase, who have
Marcel Morgenstern, the only one, our guy, our dog at Bellaterra Winery.
And truly the mastermind behind that Pan Canadian. He really encouraged us to go for it and was such a huge support in the last 3 years. So yes, so exciting. Let's stay in touch, you guys. You can always reach out to us, messenger, email, text, call, and we'll be happy to chat and hear from you. Thanks so much, guys.
I had also a text from Ilya. Ilya was planning, Ilya Senchuk, that we dearly love, Ilya and Nadia. And last minute, he couldn't make it. So, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And like, hey, don't worry. Things happen.
Well, we literally phoned and texted everyone earlier today and said, hey, a few of us are getting together on our live tonight. Do you want to stop by too? And look at that. How many people just were like, yes, it's the middle of harvest, but yes, let's have this conversation about Canadian wine, about building the community through the Pan Canadian Masterclass, because it's so special and it's important. So thank you to everyone. Such a great evening.
There you go. Well, Mira Boucher, thank you. Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members. See you next time.
Cheers.